All right, and we're live, guys. Welcome to the last call of May 2017. My name is Monica Lopez, and I'll be hosting the Diesel Nation call this morning. So we are switching it up a bit, right? We usually do our team calls late at night, but I think there's going to be a little bit of a switch in the grind when it comes to the summertime. So a lot of these calls you could expect to either be at 10 a.m. or noon, but keep on the team page for that those upcoming dates and times. But nonetheless, we're here. We're excited. Christina had a huge emergency come up. She had a hair appointment she forgot about. That's important, right? That's important. It only takes you like 2 months to get those appointments. So of course, without thinking twice, I am covering for her, which is exciting because we just came back from, wow, I know we throw this around a lot, but it's the absolute truth, a life-changing 4 days in Orlando. And I just kind of look back and reflect. All my time as a coach, there's been so many life-changing events that this business has brought to me and that I think about all the time, and I reflect on how that would not happen if it weren't for the fact that I decided to take this opportunity and run with it. And I decided to go all in and lean into all the things and all the growth and all the things that stretch me as a person. So I'm just grateful for these last 4 days. It definitely made me feel closer to the team. The group that we had, I think it was with Emily at one point. We were standing there, I think it was day 2 in the morning, and we were so excited. We kind of looked around, and she's like, we have the most amazing group here. Like, we looked around at the coaches that made it to Orlando and made the sacrifices, because you are going to hear a couple of the stories, the sacrifices that were made to get there. And it was like, wow, this is really great. Our team is really amazing. And so, it's going to be so hard for us to jam-pack 4 amazing days in 1 hour. But what we are going to do is kind of tell you a little bit about our experience, and then we're going to share with you our number 1 takeaway, or at least what each of us really took home with us to bring back to you. Before I get into that, I do want to tell you that we've already signed up. I think pretty much all of us that attended this past week are already signed up for 2018. So I'm going to give you the details for that at the end of the call. So make sure you stick around in case this is something you're interested in doing. But first and foremost, I want you to hear what everyone has to say so that it really sinks in and you realize how important this event was and how impactful it was. Again, my name is Monica Lopez. I've been a coach now for 6 years. Some of you guys know me, some of you don't. I see some new faces, which is really exciting. And I can tell you that for me personally, the way that we actually came up with Entreleadership, Christina and I were talking one day, we were talking about team retreats, because you guys know that for Diesel Nation, this was the leaders retreat that usually is hosted in the Keys house, or at least has been for the last 2 years. And we decided to do something a little bit different. Christina and Becky kind of talked, and they're like, you know what, we want to do something. It's great to have fun, right? But us as a team, we always have fun. We wanted to make it something that was impactful, something that you were going to be able to bring back home and be of value. And so in conversation with Christina one day, I was talking about John Maxwell. Because guys, for me, John Maxwell completely changed my life in 2013, which was the first summit I ever attended. Okay, it was a summit. To kind of give you a little bit of a background, I had signed up to be a coach. Soon after, like 2 months after signing up to be a coach, I was pregnant with my 3rd child. And I was like, oh, it's okay. You know what? I got this. I'm going to make it happen. I can work this business while still being pregnant, right? And I really leveraged it. I did great. If you see YouTube videos, you can see me at like 6 months pregnant, still doing burpees. I was doing Turbo Fire at the time. I was determined to make this business work even though I was pregnant. I had also signed up for Summit while being pregnant because I knew the baby would be born. I'd have a couple months to recover from my C-section, and I would be at Summit. But little did I know, when my daughter was born, she was actually born with what's called a hemangioma. It's a blood tumor. We found out when she was about, I would say, 6 weeks old. And the problem with my daughter's hemangioma was that it was located right here in her eye, which meant that this type of tumor, it rapidly grows with blood flow. So every time an infant cries, it's like, whoo, blood flow to the head. Guess what this tumor was doing? It was rapidly growing. And at 6 weeks, it was growing to a point that her eye was being pushed out of the socket, and she was at the the risk of losing not just her eye, but like her eye entirely, but her vision, as this tumor was intertwined with all her muscles. So long story short, obviously this was a point in my life where tremendous curveball, right? You think you got everything figured out. You have this plan for what you're going to do, and then life throws a curveball. And it took treatments in Miami Children's Hospital twice, within a week, twice a week for the first couple of weeks. And then after that, once a week. And I remember just feeling so exhausted because it was the first time I could actually afford maternity leave. I have 3 kids. It was the last kid that I could afford to be home, right? I always went back to work right after having my boys. But then this happened. So I was home, but not really enjoying my time, stuck in a hospital 1 to 2 times a week. All of this to say is that as soon as Mia started to get out of her treatment, it was around February, March, and I had signed up for Summit that June. We were running on fumes financially. We were pinching pennies, but I had already committed. I had already bought the ticket. I didn't have flights, and I didn't have hotel, but I just, something told me I needed to be there. And I had already made half the commitment, and we made it happen. Johan and I made it happen. We crack up all the time because I think we had Shakeology 3 times a day while at Summit just to save money on food. But we were there, and God knows what he's doing because he put me there. And it was John Maxwell, that Summit. I sat in that audience, my husband in tears, me in tears. He got through to us. What he said changed my life in such a big way that it's exactly why I took this business and I decided to go full time. And I was able to retire myself soon after that because I realized I wanted this. And I was the only person holding myself back. Yeah, life had happened. But before that, I had kind of been lollygagging, as I say, a little bit. But that's the moment that I decided I was going to really take this seriously. And it was because of John Maxwell. So all this to say is that when Christina and I were speaking about what the retreat should be like, she ran into Entreleadership. She had Googled John Maxwell to see where he was at, what he was doing, and we discovered he'd be a part of this amazing group of speakers that Dave Ramsey put together. For me personally, I only knew of Simon Sinek and John Maxwell. I don't know if that's a good thing to admit or not. I had heard of Dave Ramsey because my sister Veronica Cavalcanti, you guys know her. She raved about him because she had just completed his Financial Peace University at our church. And so, you know, I knew she was a big fan of Dave Ramsey. I absolutely, you know, I'm just bow down to John Maxwell and Simon Sinek. We saw him at last year's summit. So I knew this was the place to be. Guys, you guys know, it was not cheap to be there. But I felt the same way. Like I reverted right back to being that, being in that place I was when it was Summit, and I knew that I had to make it happen however possible. And that's what I did. That's what I did because I knew I was already a student of personal development, been a coach for 6 years. And I'll tell you guys, at first, I used to think this was all la stuff. You know, I didn't need it. I just wanted to work out and sell, you know, the workout programs and Shakeology that I wholeheartedly believed in. But there's that element of personal development. That is that element of growth. And once I discovered how important it was and how valuable it was in my business, I never took it for granted again. So I've been a student of personal development for a while now. And it was still a pretty penny to get there, but I invested and I made it happen. I think I have to thank my husband because I just come to him every once in a while. I'm like, babe, this is going to cost us some money, but I really believe I need this. He never says no to me. He's always like, do it, go. So that's a really great feeling to know that he believes in me. So I went there. I knew I loved John Maxwell, but I didn't know what to expect. And you're going to hear from some of the ladies tonight, listen, I still think we're doing a night team call. You're going to hear some of the ladies that attended with me on their takeaways. But for me, one of the main things that stuck out was this idea of people matter, and none of us want to be pushed to do anything in life. We want to be led, emotionally led to do it. And it's this whole idea of don't be a boss, be an Entreleader. And at dinner one night, my mom, Becky Cooper, made a really great point. She says, this business is voluntary army, right? I mean, it's a little bit different than the traditional business that they spoke about a lot at this event, where, you know, you're the hiring process and that you create this culture within a business. Our business is a tad bit different, right? we don't technically hire. We kind of offer the job to people. We explain what the job is, and it's up to them if they take it or not. It's not up to us. They decide. But we could still, there still is important components of culture, of helping the people that do decide to join us and take the job on, to lead them with the emotions on why they want this, why they're going to, put in this work, and why they're going to struggle, because we all struggle, right? Anything good doesn't come easy, but why the struggle will be worth it. And that, I think, you could say was the common theme of this entire event. For me, the one thing that I did want to share with you guys, the golden nugget, the golden takeaway for me, is when we started talking about cutting through the clutter. Because traditional business, right, would be advertising, right? We used to have commercials happening, the newspaper and all that kind of stuff, but things have changed. Now we've got social media. Now we've got this medium where anybody can do anything on social media. You can have your own talk show like my success partner and I do every Monday morning for moms. We call it #MomLife. Okay, now we have a talk show. You can go on YouTube and you can do crazy dances and create some kind of business for yourself and some kind of, celebrity status by being just a YouTube character. You can do so many things. And in this business, we create our business and our brand using social media. I would say 99% of our business is through social media. The average consumer, they shared this, the average consumer sees or hears up to 5,000 ad messages per day, okay, because of social media now. We've got this thing that beeps and we scroll and so much information overload. And so now they're realizing that traditional advertising is so much less effective because we have all these messages coming at us from every which direction. And they explained how repetition now, instead of before, you'd see the same commercial, all of a sudden you say, oh, I should buy that product, right? Things have changed. Repetition has become white noise. This day and age, with the society we live in, with social media, having that at our fingertips, with people walking around, being connected 24/7 to each other, this day and age, we have to learn that the new way of advertising, the new way of doing business is through storytelling, is through sharing, it's through creating tribes. And which, by the way, guys, Seth Godin, who is the author of the book Tribes, will be at next year's Entreleadership. So that's like another key indicator that I needed to be there. But we talked about tribes, and we talked about how you need to use your platform, your social media platform, to attract your tribe, to attract the kind of people that you want to work with. It's no longer about advertising. And we talk about this so much, right? Within our team trainings, I know we have fearless recruiting coaches in here. We also have our elite mastermind. I mean, we talk about this left and right. The power is in your story. And that's what makes you so special. What makes this business so special is that, that's all you really need. You just need to have your testimony, and you have to be able to go out there and share it with people. And that is how you're going to make connections. But at this event, they really honed in on why it's so important, because the human brain retains stories better than any form of communications. And it's your story that will penetrate through any white noise and make an impact. So I think a lot of times, I know for me, and I'm speaking very transparent here, sometimes it's hard for me to get down and real, right? To get deep. It takes a lot of energy from me to sit back and share something. It's so much easier just to say, Shakeology, healthiest meal of the day. It's so much harder to explain how that shake helped you, what it changed in your life, what fears you had to face, what weaknesses you had to come to terms with. I mean, there's so much more, but those are the things that impact. And what I really want to share with you guys, was this idea of a lot of times with our social media, we tend to try to be the hero of our story, right? Which is great. You should share a story, and you should share a solution within your story always, right? So if you had a problem and Shakeology fixed it, there's a solution, right? But what they tried to get us to understand is that every great story consists of 3 elements: a hero, a problem, and a guide with a solution, okay? And what you want to be is not so much the hero of your story always. You want your customer, you want your audience to realize that they can be the hero. But what you want to be is the guiding light towards that. And one quote that stood out to me that Dave Ramsey said, he was asked the question of how do you keep people motivated, or how do you find, like on social media, how do you find motivated people? He says, well, first and foremost, it is not my job to keep people motivated. It is my job to find motivated people, let them know that I have a way to guide them, and then in turn, they become their own hero. And I thought that was pretty impactful, right? Because so many times we're so worried about what we're projecting, right? If we're fit enough, if we're smart enough, if we're funny enough, if we're pretty enough, Instead, why don't we show that we had a problem, how we overcame it, and how there's a place for others in our puzzle, right? In our life, and how we could be a guiding light. When you can show your customers that they're the hero and you are only the guide, it's paramount. And so that is a huge takeaway that I took from these last 4 days. And it kind of gave me like a sense of relief, right? That you could just be you, and that would be your power. That would be your power. He talked about, we had John Rich, who is a country singer. He came out, he sang for us, and he did all this great stuff. But he had so much business background. And he talked about the woman that sings the Redneck Woman song. Forgive me, I'm not a country fan, but he talked about how this artist, he had actually found in a bar, and she never thought that she could become famous because she wasn't like other country singers. Her music, there you go, Gretchen Wilson. Thank you, Emily. She felt like she wasn't like everybody else. And he looked at her and he said, why soften your edges? Let's magnify who you are. Magnify what makes you different. And that she's known for that. And so that was a key takeaway that I took. And I just learned that, we don't have to have that pressure of being the hero. The way that we're going to cut through the white noise is just being ourselves, telling our story, and going out there and making it our mission to help others. So that is what I took away. I'm going to pass it on now to Elizabeth Hartke, who also attended with us, and I'll kind of let her tell her story and how she landed there. You there, Liz?
I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you.
Cool. So, okay, guys. Well, I just got home yesterday after our first time traveling as a family of 4. Total chaos. We were down in Florida, and the reason that we went down was for the Entreleadership Summit, and what it ended up turning into was a nice long family vacation. But basically, I wanted to share with you guys what brought me there. And like Monica, it's an investment to get down there for something like that. And I definitely have done these things in the past, but typically it's like, hundreds and hundreds of dollars to get to the event, but it also includes this online training and it includes an extra ticket. This event, Christina calls me and she's like, I'm going to Entreleadership. I'm going with my team. And I'm like, okay, cool. She's like, I want you to come with us. Awesome. Sounds great. How much is it? $3,000. And that's not including getting down there, the hotel, which is an extra, grand, the flights, all that stuff. And I'm like, okay, awesome. What comes with it? So I'm thinking I'm going to get like 2 tickets, one for me and my husband. And I'm thinking that we're going to get this big online training and this ongoing thing. It's just the event. You get those 3 days packed full of content. So of course I'm thinking in my head, how am I going to present this one to Michael, the numbers guy of the family? So he knows me by now. He knows that every time I go into something like this, I'm like, gonna try and sell it to him. But he also knows that I come out a better version of me. Now that's a lot of money to invest in 3 days of listening to speakers. But what I've learned is when you go into these events, how you come out is it pays for itself 10 times over. And I'm not trying to sell anyone on Entreleadership or any other event. I'm not affiliated with anything. But what I'm telling you is if you're sitting there, saying, why isn't my business advancing? Why isn't my income growing? What have you done to invest back into your business? And you are the key of your business. So every time you invest in you, you're going to see that uptick and that return on investment when you invest and then you apply what you learn. You don't want to be a collector of information. You don't want to go to these things and fill your notebook and come home and never do anything with it. But what I've learned to do is to go to these events soak it up, take time to reflect, which is something that the speakers reminded us to do, is don't just learn it, like reflect on it and then apply it in my life. And it's unbelievable. Like Christina just commented saying your growth is capped. That's so true. They expressed to us there that your business can't outgrow you. If you're not working on you, and I'm not just talking like flipping through the pages of a personal development book. How many times have you guys read The Frickin' Compound Effect? It's time to up your game, up your level. And I'm not saying you have to go dump thousands of dollars into something, but what are you doing to grow yourself as a leader, as a person? It doesn't matter if your team is brand new. You still need to be growing as a leader. If you have one person on your team, you have to lead that person. What are you doing to invest back in yourself? So when Christina said that, I finally presented to my husband and we decided to make a vacation of it. We ended up going down to the Keys with the Delgados after. But this event was a game changer for me. And I've done a lot of these, but the quality of the speakers, it left me in the seats sitting there almost just completely in awe of the fact that I got to be sitting there worthy of hearing what they had to offer to me. And I felt like I know I came out stronger and more confident and a better leader to come home to my team and grow my business, period. You got to invest in you. You got to keep growing you. But what I wanted to talk to you guys about briefly about what I took from this event was belief. And I know we beat you over the head with, oh, you got to believe, you got to believe, you got to believe. Well, I want to talk to you about how this concept applies, because it's not just about saying, I'm going to do it. I hope I do it. I love how they told us at the event, like, hope's not a strategy. So if you're sitting there and you're winging it and you're hoping that you're doing your daily activities and you're doing your power hour and you're utilizing what you're learning in fearless recruiting and the different trainings that you do, and you're applying, but you're not seeing that exponential growth that you're looking for, you have to reflect and look in the mirror and say, do I believe this to be true? Am I actually convinced that this is going to happen for me? I am building my dream. I know what I'm working towards. I'm intentional about what I'm doing. And I understand that it might take time, but I know for certain I'm going to get there. That level of belief is everything. And it's what you think that is true. And they hit us with Dave Ramsey, who Monica briefly touched on. He's unbelievable because he really drilled this home from day one, opened it up this event talking about a man is what he thinks about all day. It's what is in your head. You can't just say, I believe. You can't just write it on a vision board and do the work, but what's in your heart? Like, do you really, truly, are you sleeping and breathing this concept that I know that this is going to happen? Because you are what you think about. You are what you think about. You are what you think about. So if you sat there and you wrote out what you're thinking about, what are the thoughts that you allow to come into your head? What do you actually believe to be true? Would it be positive? Would it be on the good side of energy, or is it bad? Are you just doing the work and hustling and hustling and hustling, but in your heart, you still have that doubt and you still have that fear that you're allowing to creep in? And I keep saying allowing because it is a choice. As hard as it is a choice. Leadership is a choice. Belief is a choice. And it takes a lot of freaking work to believe, because there are doubters, there are naysayers, there are roadblocks, there are failures, there are mistakes that are going to hit you square in the face over and over and over and over again and try and diminish your level of belief. So what are you doing to ensure that your belief is strong and that you are constantly nurturing that belief, and you're not getting into that place of hoping and wishing and wanting, but you are fighting because you believe? And I've heard this story, and I was blessed to be trained and kind of raised as a coach through Keith Callahan, who taught me this story from day one, but it was reiterated at this conference. Some of you guys may have heard of Roger Bannister. And for decades, the 1 mile race, people were convinced, they were told that no one could physically break a 4-minute mile. It just wasn't physically possible. Doctors actually came out and said that people would self-combust if they did break that down. Like, the body was not designed to be able to break that 4-minute mile. So that was ingrained in people's head. That's what they believed to be true. And for decades, that 4 minutes and 1 second record was held for years because everyone said it could not be done. And that's what people believe to be true. Can't break the 4-minute mile. And then Roger Bannister came out, and he didn't believe what they told him. He didn't believe that you could not break that 4-minute mile. In his mind, in his heart, he knew he could do it. And he did. He broke that record that was never recorded as broken for decades and decades and decades because people told them that no one could break the 4-minute mile. And Roger Bannister came out and ran a 3-minute and 57-second mile. Guess what happened in the next 22 days? Or in the next 46 days? That record was broken 22 times because people's perception of what was true changed. They saw what was possible. They believed that they could break the 4-minute mile. They changed their thinking. And yes, it was as simple as flipping a switch. What you believe, what you think about, that is what dictates your end result. And you get to choose what you believe. You get to choose what you think about. And that was by far the most powerful thing I took from this concept. You guys should Google Roger Bannister and read a little more about that because it's an incredible testament to willpower, mindset, and belief. So I'm going to pass it over, but I want to share that with you guys because that is my goal now is to breathe that in, that concept, that idea, that level of belief into my team and the people that I'm serving and looking to help, because to me, that will change everything. When you can master that, your business will follow suit.
Amen. Oh my God, you are what you think. Wasn't it a key moment to you also when he put up that quote that said mediocrity is a choice?
Totally.
A choice where you decide whether you're going to continue to grow. You decide whether you're going to just stay stagnant. You decide whether you're just not going to go any further. We all have that choice. So love that. Thank you so much, Liz, for spending some time with us this morning and sharing your perspective. So we're going to move on now to Jeanette. You there, Jeanette?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Hey, guys. So I'm going to be totally honest and say that I was pushed, bullied into this. Okay, $3,000 was a lot. And I was like, I was in a chat with Christina Delgado, Becky, and Amy. And I'm like, okay, how much is this? And the $3,000, I'm like, I'm out. And they bombarded me like, what are you doing? And they went off. So literally the whole conversation took about 15 minutes. I'm like, okay, I'll go. And I went on a payment plan, you guys. I paid $200 every single week. Okay. And I made it. Yeah. Beachbody coach. I was bullied. Dude, I really was bullied. They made me feel this small. And my intention was to go to another one. Okay. I wanted to go to the Shailene Johnson. And Christina's like, Shailene Johnson's only going to teach you how to do an email list. And I was like, oh my God. And that's how really it happened. And I knew that I had made the right decision as soon as I walked in there and they gave me free champagne. I was like, oh my God. Where do you go to a conference where they give you free champagne as soon as you walk in? And you got more than $3,000 worth of information from the professionalism, from the speakers. You were able to engage with every speaker, the storytelling. This was top notch, and that's why it's $3,000. And chances are they can probably charge a lot more for the quality of the event. Today, I'm going to talk about a Dave Ramsey talk about creating unity and what matters most, and the fact that leaders pull. Okay. And I think one of the mistakes we make in the beginning as new coaches is we try to push people, but we can't. We are here to pull people, not to push them. And we have to lead with vision. Our team has to know what our vision is. Our team has to know what our why. And as leaders, we have to know our coach's why. It is equally important, knowing my why and knowing their why. Because when we are fighting for our why, we're bringing our whys of our coaches with us. Teaching our people that the core values of our organization, that people matter. Customers are people. They're not challenge packs, you guys. We have to build these relationships with our customers. Our customers, at least in my organization, they make the best coaches. So we have to treat them as people. And then our team members, right? Our coaches, they're not units of production. We cannot just see them as volume. We cannot see them as people that are giving us elite points. They matter, okay? Our competitors, we don't destroy competitors. And I know that people often come to us talking about this shake and that shake. Guess what? I don't know about that shake, but I do know about Shakeology. So let me talk to you about Shakeology. Great organizations create unity intentionally, okay? So how are you creating unity within your organization? And I'm here to tell you that not everybody is going to be a diamond in our organization. Not everybody is going to hit Success Club, but everyone can make an impact in your organization. Each and every one of us, we have a gift. And maybe it's not meant to be diamond or hitting, Success Club, but what is their gift and what can they bring to your organization, to that team page? And I'm a firm believer in that, okay? We are here to bring people as lifers in our team, because they have a role. So there's 5 main enemies of unity. Poor communication. And I think at the beginning, we're all really guilty about having poor communication. But guess what? We can improve on this, right? Setting expectations from the beginning. What do our team members expect from us as a leader? What do our team members expect, from each other? What do our customers expect? And what do we expect from our customers, right? Gossip. And thank God, I don't think gossip is a problem in Diesel Nation. I think our leaders, they nip it in the butt. So if you're having this problem, nip it in the butt. And if that means removing some team members from our organization, that is what we have to do, because gossip will spread like wildfire, right? Unresolved disagreements. And I think that this is, once again, back to communication. If there's problems happening in the team page, is there problems that are happening within coaches, nip it in the bud, have a Zoom call, let's talk it out. Lack of shared purpose. Oh, and this is a good one, you guys. When people don't know where they're going, right? Are you sharing your vision with your team? Are you sharing your purpose? And having a mission statement, and this is nothing to do with Dave Ramsey, but it's so important that you guys go out and find a mission statement of what is your team's mission statement, right? Because mine is empower people to soar. This is the way I start my calls. I tell my team that we are going to be a top 50 elite team for 2017. Everybody knows where we're going. In my big banner, it says it right there. Let's have a common vision. And why is that important for your team? Sanctioned incompetence, okay? Allowing incompetence to continue. One of our roles as leaders is make sure that we are starting our coaches right, that we're giving them a foundation for success. And we are there checking in on them to see if there is that type of incompetence that's happening. And I love this, what he says, and it has so much to do with our personal development and the core values of Beachbody. Our job is to awaken possibility in other people. How amazing. I'm going to repeat that. Our job is to awaken possibility in other people. I go back to the gift, that we all have this gift. It is our job as leaders to help our customers and our coaches find this gift so they can share it with the world. He talked about how many shiny eyes do you have on yourself, right? Are these coaches looking up to you with shiny eyes? Are your kids looking up to you with shiny eyes? Okay? Let's talk about recruiting, right? Are we recruiting donkeys or are we recruiting thoroughbreds? Because thoroughbreds are not hanging out with donkeys, right? Good people attract good people. So let's put some good people in our organization. And we had this talk at lunch when we, all of us were there. Melanie Mitra was there, and I'm still probably in the part of my organization that I pick up some donkeys. And I said, yeah, join me. But is that really a good idea? Because you know what happens with donkeys? They're not going to go anywhere. And we know that from the beginning. And it's just a waste of time. They're not adding anything to our organization. So let's go out there and recruit thoroughbreds. Let's be patient. But we have to be good, because a thoroughbred is not going to come to a donkey. That was my donkey talk. All right. And pray for God to send you who he wants you to work with. What another powerful message. Pray for God to send you who he wants you to work with. And I was like, wow. 3 reasons why team members fail. Number 1, leadership failure. That is why you have to invest in personal development. It goes beyond a book. Okay, and one of my team members didn't go, and a lot of pressure from the family saying, that's just a scam. You can read that information in a book. You cannot read this information. The vibe that you get at this event, the chills, the tears, seeing people around you, the story that you hear there, you're not going to be able to get that in a book. So leadership starts with you. And once you start getting leaders in your team, I will tell you that I have this pressure to continue to develop myself as a leader, because now I'm recruiting thoroughbreds and they're catching up to my leadership. So you better be doing personal development heavily on leadership skills, personal problems. And listen, we all go through personal problems, and some of our team members deal with it better than others. We cannot shut our doors on people that have to take a step back in our business because of personal problems. Okay, this happens. And I might have been guilty in the beginning of saying, they're just making excuses. We deal with things differently. Keep that door open. Keep connected to that team member, because if that team member feels like they're loved and that you care, that team member will be coming back to you. Okay? Keep your doors open and be accepting that some people can't do both at the same time. They can go through these problems and push the business. I know I can. The top leaders of this business can, but not everybody's like that, right? Incompetence. Once again, that is our job as leaders. We have to be there making sure that our team members have the tools, and we have to continue seeking those tools as leaders. This is a perfect example. I'm doing this whole talk to my leaders tonight. These are things that we constantly have to be giving knowledge to our team. They do have to take personal responsibility for them also finding their own learning opportunities, but as leaders, our team members might not be able to afford this. We can, and we need to bring these tools back and teach it. Great organizations are fanatically intentional about communication, recognition, and delegation. Find those team leaders in your organizations and start delegating, you guys. It's a great feeling when you give some things away and you're like, yes, they can do it. Have your leaders start doing team calls. I already have my leaders they do the team calendar. I don't want to do that. I'm telling you, listen, you have this gift. I want you to share that. You're hosting this team call. All right. Yes, I love that. Empower them. Empower your team leaders. A higher calling that matters. Okay. Your why. The why of why you're doing this business matters more than the what or how. It all goes back to your why. Your team should know your why. You as a leader, you better know the why, the deep down reason of every single member of your team. A higher calling lifts up and inspires you guys. And I want to talk about the word success club. I hate that word. I can't motivate anybody to hit success club. I can motivate people to impact other lives. So I challenge you to be careful with the words that you use. Forget that word success club, and let's talk about impacting lives. Let's talk about changing lives, because that is our higher calling. We are not here to sell challenge packs. We're not here to make money. We are here to impact and change some lives. And that is how you have to talk about this business, about changing lives. Team members who know the why of your business turn into crusaders. Okay? Imagine. We are fighting for a bigger cause. We are fighting for our families. We are fighting for our visions. We are fighting for our dreams. That is what being a crusader is, right? If you play for something bigger than yourself, you play much harder and you play much smarter. For me, guys, me retiring my husband is as equally as important as me retiring my teammates. That is us playing bigger. We are playing bigger for the dreams of the people that we are trying to help out. Okay, so remember that, and it goes back to your why. You can win at business without losing your soul. You guys, you can't be successful if you're just thinking about money, and if you're thinking about rank in this business. You will lose, you will fail. That is not the soul of our business. The soul of our business goes back to changing lives. So that is all I got, guys.
Way to go, Jeanette. That was amazing. You just took us to church, girlfriend.
Thank you.
Let me tell you guys, another thing just to kind of talk about, the investment money and what you get. I agree with you, Jeanette. The level of quality was just amazing. Like what was there. We got there every morning to a brand new book or two that, Wasn't that awesome? Like to get
those
surprised.
little things. I was so excited. I'm like, oh my God, we got a book. It was,
but we also got these workbooks, which is what we're reading from and what we're sharing from, guys. And I can tell you that this is going to be like my Bible for a very long time. There is so much amazingness, and the way that they constructed it is something that I also told the girls on our way back home. We all kind of drove back in a giant van, and I think that was one of the highlights of my entire trip was the way home, because we all came back different. We all came back motivated and like fired up to make something happen. But I felt like we came back with tools to bring this back home to our team and to share it with you guys and to be able to do this, in a way that is concise. So I'm telling you guys, top-notch conference. All right, I'm going to pass it on because I know we're running out of time here. Who do we got coming up next? We've got Emily. Emily, you there? Thank you.
I am. I don't know how I can follow that. That was
yeah,
amazing.
Right?
Everybody's like up in the game, every speech. So I have slides, which I know is like everybody's about to go to sleep. But the reason I have slides is because I'm going to talk about things that are more tactical. And I personally was taking pictures of the slides at the conference because I knew I was going to need, for the particular talk I'm about to give you, examples, and he gave great ones. So I want to share them with you. And the other hope of all of this is that if you're driving in your car right now, if you go back to listen to this and you're on your phone, you can take pictures of what I'm showing you so that you have a takeaway. I know my voice is amazing, but just to have a picture would be even better. So it also helped me sort of clarify. So this talks about clarity, and we're all talking about clarity, but it helped me clarify exactly what I wanted to touch on and why that was so important. I have a lot to cover, and I'm going to do it really quickly. I personally have struggled from anxiety. I have anxiety attacks when I drive on the highway. I was driving to the airport to get to the event, and there was a huge pileup. I live in Atlanta. This is very common. It's a Sunday. It's like LA traffic. I realized I was cutting it really close to hitting my flight, and it pulled me into an anxiety attack. So I went into an anxiety attack and had to pull over and take MARTA the rest of the way. MARTA is our lame attempt at public transportation in Atlanta. And MARTA was backed up. So by the time I got to the airport, Atlanta airport's the biggest airport in the world, actually. I had 20 minutes to get to my plane, and security was also backed up. So I knew I wasn't going to make it. I tried so hard. I was flying Southwest, ended up on standby for the next 3 flights, and realized that the last standby was at 8 p.m. The flight was completely full, just like the others. So I decided I had a choice. I could fly out the next morning and miss the opening speeches, miss talking to the team before the event started, or I could just, as my mom always said, a phone and a credit card can solve a lot of problems. And so I went over to the Southwest desk and I said, can I just outright pay for my flight? And they said, everything's booked, but we happen to be on the same terminal as Delta if you want to go check Delta. I walked down the hall and all they had left was a first class ticket for $1,000. So I got my credit card out. The lady said I was nuts, and I paid $1,000 to be there. I just left corporate America. I am on, they always say like bootstrapping your business. I am bootstrapping my business right now. But I saw so much value, not only in what we were doing, but the camaraderie and the downloading that we did between sessions. Just hearing, even on this call right now, we all heard the same speakers, but we all took something else away. So screw my anxiety, screw all of that. It was worth the $1,000 to get there. And first class was amazing for the 80 minutes that I was sitting in it. But you know what? I wouldn't trade it for the world. So let me jump into my slides. I just wanted to share that with you because don't let things become your prison. Don't let your excuse become your prison and your reason for never changing who you are. screw my anxiety. It makes me a better person. So I'm going to share my screen really quickly, and I am going to hurry, I promise. So let me make this bigger. Okay, what I want to talk about is creating clarity in your business. They listed 6 questions. This was a Pat Lencioni talk, and it really spoke to me because I'm a person that I personally need questions asked of me. And that helps me create clarity, whether it's to a client, whether it's to a coach, whatever it is. Questions are just the cornerstone for me. So when he listed these questions, I thought everybody can really use this. So in your business, why do we exist? And when I say we, I mean, the organization, your business. How do we behave? How do you behave? What is it about you? What do we do? And back to what everybody's saying, is it selling challenge packs? Because that's not what I do for a living. That's not what I would tell people I do for a living. So what do we do? And then the reason 4 and 5 are highlighted is because I'm going to dive deeper into those. How will we succeed? And what is most important right now? And then who must do what? And to me, that goes back to the delegation that several people have talked about. I'm not going to go into that. I want to talk about how will we succeed and what is most important right now. So this slide, again, I was in the back so you can see, but they gave the example of Southwest Airlines, and what he told all of us to do, what Pat Lencioni said was, get out a whiteboard, get out a piece of paper, get out a Word doc, it doesn't matter, and write down what your business stands for. What is it that sets you apart from everything else that you do? And then what you're going to find is that once you start setting this big picture out, is that a lot of the words that you're writing lead back to other words. So for instance, open seating, one plane type, that really all led back to being an on-time flight. And so from this, you get how you're going to succeed. And then the next piece of this is, now that I know how I'm going to succeed, what is most important right this second? And so he worked with Kelly Blue Book, separate company. I wanted you to make sure that this is not the same company. This is not Southwest's battle cry. This is the rally cry of Kelly Blue Book a few years ago that he worked with. So your battle cry, this goes back to the question of what is most important right now. So I know a lot of us say, I want to be, $1 million earner. I want to be, 10-star, 15-star, and maybe you're sitting at 1 star. That's not really going to be what's most important right now. Because in my mind, what you're focusing on for the next 3, 6, and 12 months, that's what's going to get you to that major goal, but you really have to break it off. And I thought this was interesting because I know several of us have read 12-Week Year, and I thought this is a great way to frame that up that I couldn't figure out how to do when I was reading that book. So you come up with your thematic goal, and what your thematic goal is it's something that is qualitative. So for them, it was capturing millennials. Millennials are online people. Defining your objective. What are the things that need to change in order for you to make that goal? And so in this one, they felt like they needed to change the name of the company, market to youth, complete an iPhone app, hire for new skills. They needed younger people, right? If you're going to market to younger people. Then there's the standard operating objectives. These are the things that the company runs on. Car valuations, revenue, marketing, recruiting. That's not going to change, right? But they just need to make sure these are our overall objectives. And in my mind, I came from corporate America where we called it KPIs, key performance indicators. Those are your key performance indicators. Those are the things that tell you, am I really performing well? Am I really reaching that thematic goal and, defining my objectives? Am I doing that? And these are my operating objectives that are showing me that. So what I wanted to do was make this what I was really, really struggling at the conference on how do we do this in our business. I just could not put my finger on it, because to me, the thematic goal is qualitative and everything I focus on is quantitative. 5-star, making so much money, everything I kept going back to was quantitative. So I left the conference frustrated and just really wanting to solve this because it just irritated me. So what I did was I actually started with that amoeba picture, and what I decided was my goal is to serve. I will serve. I will serve other people. And what I did, because I love the circle drawing where things overlap, that really helps me. I started with a bunch of words, then I put it in this circle to say, what is my sweet spot? And what I realized was my goal is to inspire, guide, and lead. In order to inspire, guide, and lead, I need to become a trusted advisor, which is what I'm doing on Facebook and social media. When I'm getting to know people, private messages, I'm becoming a trusted advisor. From there, I am a guide. So back to the hero versus guide. I'm not a hero, I'm a guide. I am guiding you through your challenge groups. I'm helping you heal. I'm informing you. I'm listening. I'm inspiring. And then, from there, I help you in the realm of coaching, which is where I become a leader. And that is where I'm a mentor. And again, I'm listening, I'm guiding, I'm inspiring. The thing that I noticed of all of these that really overlapped was encourage and stretch. And stretch, I know, seems strange. What I mean is getting you out of your comfort zone. If you come on board with me, I'm getting you out of your comfort zone. If you join a challenge group, I'm getting you out of your comfort zone. If you want to come coach with me and become financially independent, I'm getting you out of that comfort zone, so I'm stretching you. So that was this piece. And so I immediately went to social media and literally listed this out for the world to see, to motivate, so inspire, to motivate you to create positive change in your life, guide, to give you a strategy for making that positive change a way of life, lead, to teach you to own your business, your positive change and turn it into physical, emotional, and financial independence. I am here to serve others. Did you see the word challenge pack anywhere in there? No, it's not in there. So then I took my battle cry, the rally cry. What is my rally cry? So again, not saying I felt like over here, this is my overarching theme, but what am I going to do in the next 3 to 6 months? In order for me to lead a team of people, I need to make it to the leadership retreat. That is what I need to do. I put the 60 elite points there because that gets me a hotel, but that's not going to stop me. What are the components of my goal that have to be true in order for me to make all of that happen? I need my team to buy in. I need them to understand the significance of leadership retreat for the team. And I need my team to become owners of their business. I can't spoon feed. I mean, I've worked a lot with several people on this team, and nobody is telling me every day, Emily, you need to do this or that. I own my business and I decide what that is. So I need to create owners on my team. And then I wrote in here weekly one-on-one calls, but I actually reached out to my team and I changed this to lead how they want to be led. So what I found out was my team actually wanted mastermind calls where people at the same level were on a call with them so they felt less alone and they could mastermind. And I have a couple, I'd say 3 different levels in my organization: the newbies, the guys that have been around that are at Emerald but haven't quite hit Diamond, and then the Diamonds that need to move on, to stars and that kind of thing. And so I thought, I've got enough people that I can do 3 of these calls. So again, lead how they want to be led. Let's all think about that. A lot of us are talking at our team and not talking with them. Restructure coach training, restructure challenge groups. Honestly, both of these go back to my team buy-in, because what I realized was what was built on my team and my challenge groups was things I created, and now I have larger people on the team. And so what I did was I created a coach challenge group. Not a challenge group. It's a demolition crew for challenge groups. And tomorrow night, I'm getting on a call with 7 other women, and we are going to talk about what's working. We're going to talk about what's not working, and we're going to throw a ton of ideas out, and nothing will be discounted. Everything will be taken seriously because I respect my team, and good ideas come from everywhere. And again, from the people who aren't producing, and even the people who are, what is it about training that's working and what isn't? Because I feel like my team needs to shake it up a little bit in that realm. And I have some ideas. And again, getting the team to buy in and become owners, they need to be empowered. So standard operating objectives, these might look familiar. Recruiting, volume, success club, inviting, personal development, love, and workout. Okay, inviting, vital behavior, personal development, huge vital behavior. It's why I created this. Working out. Obviously, we have to be a proof of the product. So love, I know you're probably like, what is that? What I mean by that is love on your team. Love and respect and share with your team. And yes, for me, that is a standard operating objective. Because if I'm not showing love, then I'm not doing a good job. And then from that, recruiting and volume and success club show me, they are KPIs that I can literally point to and say, am I reaching success with my team? So I wanted to show you this as well. I have a document that I will share with you. This is what the thematic view looks like. Again, feel free to take a screenshot of this. I can also share the Word doc. You can copy and create your own. You can print this out. And it is literally your thematic goal, your defining objectives, and your standard operating objectives. So that is, oh no, oh, there it goes. Okay. I was worried it was going to crap out on me. Sometimes my computer does that. Anyway, so I hope I covered that in a short period of time because I know I was rambling. But that's all I have to say. That to me was the first thing that I worked on when I got back because I realized that's where I was struggling the most is clarity and constantly communicating. He also said, create clarity, reinforce clarity, and over-communicate clarity. Hello, we need to tell people on a daily basis why we're here. What are we doing? What is our purpose? It has to be to the point where you're probably like, oh, if I say this one more time, I'm going to just die. But people need to hear that. So anyway, I will share.
Awesome. That was so awesome. Let me tell you something. That day, I remember I think we had John Maxwell that morning. I think we were like on an emotional roller coaster. I mean, you were crying one minute, laughing the next, and then they threw this bomb at us, right? Mm-hmm. And I felt like you. I remember walking out to lunch and being like, I don't even know what to plug into that.
Yeah.
It was so hard, and especially because they said it couldn't be quantitative. It had to be, So it took the way you just laid that out, Emily, wow, that was amazing. And I know I took a picture as you were talking because I'm definitely going to sit down and review yours and really hone in on my clarity as well for my team. So thank you for that. That was amazing. All right, up next we've got Anna. Anna Banana, you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
There she is. Go for it, Anna. Yeah. You're up.
Wow. Okay. So like Emily said, like, how am I going to top that off? Like, that is just like so amazing. So before I start, I just want to share. So today is my wedding anniversary, 14 years. And on top of that, it is actually my 4-year anniversary of going full-time as a Beachbody coach. So I've been a coach for about almost 6.5 years, but today, it's just a double special day. So, so I'm really excited to talk about this because it kind of goes into about my day being a full-time coach. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what Christy Wright talked about. And she shared the 5 excuses that steal your time. And I think that as a new coach, a coach that is working part-time, a coach that is working to be full-time, and even as a full-time coach, time management is such a huge problem. And everybody's business and in your family life and whatever. So it is really important that you're scheduling your time and that you're using your time wisely, whether, like I said, if you're full-time, part-time, whatever. Okay, so before I go into the 5 excuses, she listed us told us what a reason versus what an excuse is. So a reason is something that makes sense, or it's a logical explanation for why something can or cannot happen. And an excuse is a lie presented as the truth. That's what we tell ourselves, like, oh yeah, I can't do that because of this, this, and this, and that. But sometimes there are things that come into your life, or things that happen that you legit cannot or can or cannot be able to do it. Okay. So number one, I'm just going to go through these really quick because I know we don't have that much time. So number one, the first excuse is, I don't have enough time. It's true. Even our challengers tell us, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time to work out. I don't have enough time to work this business. Where am I going to plug this in? So, the truth is, we all have the exact same 24 hours. We all do. We don't have a time problem. We have a priority problem. So that means that you're not making a priority to work out. You're not making a priority to get your personal development. You're not making it a priority to work on your vital behaviors. You're just not making it a priority. Okay, you can plug in little pieces of time, whether if it's 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the afternoon, 10 minutes, whatever, however much you want to work, or how little, or if you just want to work one day and just get it all done and have the rest of the days off, whatever it is, you just got to make it a priority and just be able to plug in those time. Okay. So the next thing she said was, you'll never find time. You make the time, like I said. And in order to that, you need to time block it. You need to schedule it. I'm not really good at scheduling things. I'm kind of more like, whatever I feel kind of in the moment, but you know what? I do make the best of my time when I'm doing that. So number two, everything is important. And this to me, this is kind of me also. So the truth in this is that if everything is important, then nothing is important. Okay. So it devalues the things that are important. Okay. So you have your list of things that you need to do. You're saying, okay, I need to go do my groceries, but I also need to do the dry cleaning, but I also need to work on my business, but I also need to be here at my kids' school, and blah, 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 blah. If you see everything like this, then you're not going to be able to see the things that are actually important that you need to do in that moment, that will take you to the next level, or to be able to do the things that you need to do. Okay, so everything is not created equal. So one of the things that she gave us, which I thought this was awesome, was to create a hierarchy of priorities that direct how you spend your time. So you're going to make a list of everything that you need to do. Okay, so then you're going to single out and you're going to circle the things that you can only do. Okay, and then the other things you're going to delegate. So if it's stuff that has to do with your team call, like Jeanette was saying, like she no longer does her scheduling for the schedules for her team. She's delegated that. That's one less thing that she needs to worry about. So that also creates less stress in your life. You're not overwhelmed and you're not like a hot mess 100% of the time. All right. So number three, everyone steals my time. That happens. If you have a family, if you have kids, if you have a dog, in your business, then you have your coaches and then you have your challengers, So the truth is that anything put on a calendar is something that you put there or that you allowed to be there. Okay. So protect your valuable resource, and your valuable resource is time. Time is something that you will never, ever get back. So you need to make sure that you have to say no to things. And this is something that I've struggled with for a very long time, because I really hate saying the word no to other people. So when you say yes, it's more about us. It's more about that other person. But when you say no, it takes confidence. It takes confidence to say no. So I don't know if a lot of you know, but I have a special needs daughter, and it's very difficult for us to go to public, to go out in public. It goes, to go to parties. And when I know that the situation or the place, or I'm not really confident, I say no, because I already know what to expect. I already know that I'm going to be stressed out the entire time. I'm going to be running around after her. She's either going to have tantrums or fits or whatever. And you know what? I just have to say no. And it's taken a long time for me to be able to say no. And if they have a problem with it, then they have a problem with it. I have to worry about me. Like I said, she also shared with us, if you don't protect what matters to you, no one else will. So don't be afraid to say no to things that are not as important to you. Okay, so I got two more things. Number 4, I have to do everything myself. My gosh. I swear that every single thing that she's talked about, it's like, that's me. I have to do everything myself. The truth is that micromanaging depletes your time and demotivates your team. And in a lot of ways, this, especially in the beginning, I did a lot of this because it was more to fill my ego. It was more about me than it was about them. But then I realized that, you know what, if I'm doing everything, I'm not helping my coaches. I'm not helping them, step up and learn the way that I've learned. There's so many, whenever we say, or people ask questions in the Diesel Nation team page, and we always say, check the FAQs. Guess what? We did that. So why are we're not helping you guys by learning on your own? There's so much information out there in YouTube, especially YouTube. And there's so much information in the Coach Online Office that's out there, to help you. So, yeah. So number 5, which is another great one, I'll do it later. How many times do you say, I'll just do it later? And if my husband was on the team call right now, he would say, that is your number one excuse. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. Because guess what? I'm not making it a priority. I'm kind of like, and the thing is that most of the time it is a priority, and I'm kind of like pushing it off. And guess what? By the time that I need to do it, it is like extremely urgent. I got to get it done. I'm stressed out. He's stressed out. The kids are stressed out. My team is, it's like going crazy. But if you don't make it a priority, then guess what? The finish line is always going to move. It's always going to move, and it's never going to get completed. So one of the things that I absolutely loved, and for me, it comes back to family life, especially when you are a full-time coach, and even, as a part-time coach. When it comes to creating balance in your life, you got to focus on the quality over the quantity. So a lot of times we say, oh no, because I'm going to spend the whole day with my kids. And then, you're spending the whole day with your kids, and then all of a sudden, like, neither one of you have either like enjoyed each other's time. It's like created a mess. And you really haven't, you just haven't enjoyed the quality time that you are together. So if you just spend, okay, I'm going to spend my 2 hours in the morning with my kids, and just make those 2 hours just the best that you can make it. It doesn't have to be the entire day. Same thing with your team, even if it's your team calls, it doesn't have to be every single day. I need to talk to everybody every single day or have team calls. No, just schedule it once a week and make it the best 1 hour that you can, and just be there in the moment. So those are my takeaways.
Thank you, Anna. Yeah, I remember saying that. It's like, wherever you are, be there. Wherever you are, be there. And just to tap on one thing on the, we all have the same exact 24 hours. I'm going to throw you guys a fun fact that they share with us. The average American spends about 9 years of their life watching television. Isn't that crazy? Where we're putting our time. So that's just something to think about. I know that stuck with me. All right. I know we're running really short on time. We're going to pass it over to Nina. Are you there, Nina?
I am here, Monica.
Yeah. Go for it.
Super excited, and thank you to everybody that has hold and stay until the end. It was indeed an amazing conference. I come from a world that I did not believe in personal development. My faith is very high, so that was my personal development, going to mass and surrounding myself by prayer and by people that pray. So personal development was something that did not happen to me. And then thanks to Monica and her team page, she started talking about the compound effect 3 years ago, and are you reading it? And I was quiet. I was a new coach, not wanting to work the business, nothing, just needed the discount because I had to lose over 100 pounds. And when she started mentioning about, are you reading this? What are you doing about personal development? It just, I just said, you know what? I'm just going to get the book because I like to read. I mean, not that I love to read, but it's okay, And I needed to get out of my obesity. So to me, if that is what's going to help me, I'm like, okay, I'll do it. So I did. I picked up the compound effect. And because of that, personal development was brought into my life. It made a difference, a big impact. It has forever changed me. It made me realize how much I was missing and how much I could earn and become of a new person because of it. So personal development is, thanks to Beachbody, into my life. It was brought by Beachbody. And in January, when Christina posted on the team, on the Diamond page about this, I'm on the same boat that Emily is. I just came home from corporate America. My income is not where it needs to be. I'm building my team, and it's very nerve-wracking. But when I saw it and I saw that I could qualify it and everything, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put my name. So I wrote my name. I didn't even ask my husband, nothing. I'm a red, because we did an exercise. They all, like with part of this personal development, they did a DISC assessment. And a red means that you just take decisions. You don't ask anything. You're kind of like you're just on the spot. So I did it, and then every single month, I got into the payment plan as well, and every single month that I got $683 charged, my husband will scream at me, again, you're not going. And then a week earlier, he's like, you're just going to cancel, call and cancel. And I'm like, I'm not going to cancel. We're not where we need to be. This is irresponsible. I'm like, I don't care. I need to be there. And indeed, I needed to be there. And I'm very happy that I got the talk to share with you guys about strong leaders and strong teams, because that comes down to personal development and becoming a great leader. Before you lead anyone, you need to lead yourself. That's it. If we are not doing our 4 vital behaviors, it's very hard, nearly impossible to ask someone to do them, because we need to be leading by example. So becoming a strong leader, number one, we need to create a vision. Where do we see ourselves? And you can divide this into 3 different parts. Long term, which for me is a superstar, fit, Latina, diamond team. That's my vision. That's where I see myself in 5 years. In 3 years, where do I see myself? In 1 year, where do you see yourself with your team? Because this is a people business. If you're not including your people, you're not going to go anywhere, period. Like if you don't have your people in your vision, if you don't have retiring them and helping them, I think, we're not going to go anywhere. So you need to create a clear vision for yourself and for your team. You need to identify the gap that you have. So for me, I decided in November that I was going to work the Hispanic Spanish-speaking market. I don't have all the tools in Spanish. I haven't built. So everything is in English. Everything from Lead Diesel Nation comes to me in English, which is amazing. But translating them and building it in Spanish and creating my own systems have been a struggle. So I've come to realize that if I want to build a business, and my vision is that my gap is that I need to start working on those systems and be able to have everything in place. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to make it there. I'm not going to be able to get people started right. So that is my gap. And my recommendation for you guys is create a vision, number one. Number two, what are you missing? What you don't have that is preventing you from doing that? Number three, understand, learn, and grow. You need to be coachable. You need to at all times, we all need to be coachable. We need to be participating at events, plug into these opportunities. If you couldn't make it, make sure that you make it to our calls, because I think it's as equal as important. Right, it's a good opportunity. Number four, okay, so what tools or skills do you need to reach that goal? So for me, for example, I need to become better at social media. I see that the top coaches, they have 13,000 followers on Instagram. They have a fan page that has 98,000 fan likes. So I need to become better at social media to be able to reach more people. I need to become a leader and a better leader for my team. So those are the things and the tools that I'm going to need in order to reach that big goal that I have in front of me that I want to reach. Create an action plan. So an action plan, what is it? Okay, what did I do? So for example, the gap that I told you guys about, I need a lot of systems in Spanish. So what is it? For new coaches, I need to translate it. For new challenger, I need to translate it. I need to do a coach university. That's how we call it, which is, so I need those action, an action plan of things that I need to get done and mark off my list to be able to have a strategic plan and an actionable plan to be able to say, okay, I'm going to reach it. Put it to work. That is very important, and you need to follow the plan, because a lot of times we sit down, we do it, and then we'll kind of decide, you know what, I'm just not going to do it. I'm just going to do something else, and that is a big problem. If you don't follow your plan and you're going somewhere else. The second part of this is building a strong team. So once you build yourself as a leader, once you know your plan, once you know your gap, once you know what actions you're going to go, you're going to build a clear vision for your team. You're going to be hiring. This is very important, and I think it was very difficult for a lot of us, because they kept saying it's hire smarter people. And we're like, but we don't hire people, we kind of they come to us and we just take it. And one of the things that at the end we all agree, we do get to hire the people that we work with. We do get to invite the people that we want to. So you are able, and we don't have to take everyone. If you don't work with somebody, or like start thinking as a manager, or as a leader, not a manager, as a leader, who do I want to partner? If you go in and sign up the registration for them, if you do their things for them, you don't want to work with somebody like that. If they cannot even sign up for this, I will recommend don't even think they're going to become a leader on your team, because they need to start doing their own things. Spend time with your team. That is amazing, and I think Christina and Becky and Monica are very good at it. They create opportunities to spend with us, a lunch at Summit. Like, it's just amazing. It's one of the things that I've loved the most, and I'm very grateful to be a Digital Nations member because of that. So the same thing goes for you guys. Like, make a breakfast for Summit. Make sure that if you cannot afford it, tell them we're just gonna have, this is the place we're gonna meet, and then don't even invite, just like financially, just say this is where we're gonna meet, but make sure that you spend time with your team. Don't miss opportunities to connect with your team. Show your appreciation, which is the exact same thing that we do. Recognize them, show them that they matter, execute the right things, celebrate the wins. So basically, to close out, is assess where you are now, acknowledge the opportunities that you have, and then activate the action plan. Those three things are kind of to close out and see where you are, acknowledge the opportunities that you have, which the opportunities that we have here are endless. And I feel that we're just starting with the international expansion. And so that is pretty much what I have to say.
Nina, that was amazing. That was amazing. That was so. I'm getting feedback. Hold on. Mute yourself, Nina. I get feedback from you for some reason. Nina, I get feedback from you. Okay, so that was amazing, Nina. Thank you. One of the biggest takeaways I remember in this section, which by the way was by Chris Hogan, and he's going to be there next year, is when he said good leadership. Good leadership helps someone in a job. Great leaders help somebody who had a better life. So good leadership is someone that helps in a job. Great leaders are somebody that helps a person in life in total. Right? I think I butchered that, but you guys get the point. So before we wrap this up, I know we are so short on time, and thank you guys so much for being here all the way to the end. The one last thing that I want to leave you guys with, if you haven't already realized what a tremendous, forget that it was a cost for us, forget it's something that we incurred, but it was an opportunity. I walked out of there being grateful that God allowed me to have the opportunity to be there. That's just the way I felt walking out of there. If you haven't felt that yet, that you need to be there next year, I do want to share with you one last thing. And kind of like Liz says, it's not like we get anything out of our team being there, but we know that it's going to make us stronger as a team, and what you get out of it is just going to come out different. So let me show you guys something real quick, and then we will wrap this up, and I'll give you the details for next year. Let me give me 1 second. All right, check this out, guys.
If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. This is what this week is about. It is about you intentionally imposing your will first in your own life and then on the marketplace. It is your time. You deserve to win.
If you're running your business for a bigger paycheck, you're going to hit a wall. There's always somebody who's going to have more. So if the purpose of your business is money, it's never going to be great.
To be effective, we've got to get over our hero complex. We've got to get over this idea that no one can do it better than we can. Now, we'll tell you one thing. No one's going to care as much as you do. But there may be people that can do it, believe it or not, better than you can.
People matter. People matter. And if they don't matter to you as a leader, they're not going to matter to your organization, because you set the tone.
We've got to understand that our words have power. Our words have the ability to change moods and lift attitudes if we choose to. And so teach your team.
Of course, nobody wants this person. Nobody wants the low performer of low trust, of course. Of course, everybody wants this person, the high performer of high trust, of course. This person over here, the high performer of low trust, that's a toxic leader. They would rather have a medium performer of high trust, sometimes even a low performer of high trust, it's a relative scale, over this person. Leadership is a choice, a very hard choice.
The things that cause you to be able to lead are decisions. You get to decide your character. You get to decide your level of integrity. You get to decide whether you care about your people. You get to decide whether you demand excellence and then what methodology you use to demand that excellence.
He said, if you're going to be a leader of an organization, number one, you have to have a vision where you want to take that organization. Number two, you have to have a plan how you're going to get there. Number three, you lead by example. But number four, you hold people accountable for the choices they make. And number five, make sure everybody in that organization understands your core values. Now, I know I'm talking to a very, very successful group of people. There's a rule in life, you're either growing or you're dying.
What is your purpose? What is your cause? What is your belief? Why did you start your business in the first place? What is your why? You've got to get that front and center. That's the thing that inspires people, and that's the thing that will give them their marching orders on how to build the business.
You deserve to take your business to the next level. That's why we work so hard at this, because we believe in you. You need to believe in you. You need to take the steps. You need to say, seize the day. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Seize the day. Louder! Woo!
Oh my gosh, guys, I have goosebumps. We're just be right back to being in that audience. Tell me that wasn't impactful. So let me give you guys real quick the information on next year's event. So Christina and Becky will have some sort of qualification program for this, right? So just like we had this year, if we hit, I believe it was leadership ladder, team leader in the leadership ladder, and we held a certain rank, they pitched in a certain amount of money towards our total fee of attending. Now, next year's, Christina actually worked out a really great deal. We got a better price for next year. The total price will be $2,500 to earn your way there. Now, you can also earn a portion of that helped out, subsidized by Christina and Becky, but again, the qualifications are going to be set later on in the year, and keep your ear out for that. But I just wanted to give you guys an idea, because the reality is that whether you earn it on the leadership ladder, you earn it rank-wise, or you're not quite there in your business, you still have an opportunity to be there. Even if you're not on Diesel Nation, you're on another team, you have the opportunity to invest in you and invest in your business and be at a conference that you obviously just heard in the last hour how amazing and impactful and worth it is. To give you guys a little bit of insight on the speakers next year, Dave Ramsey obviously is the host, who you heard him there. Tell me his voice, his energy is not contagious. It doesn't send chills up your spine. We have Condoleezza Rice. I know I don't have to introduce who she is. We also have Alan Mulally, which is the president and CEO of Ford Motor Company. Dan Cathy, CEO of Chick-fil-A. Gary Kelly, CEO of Southwest Airlines. Dr. Arthur Laffer, which is world-renowned economist, butchered that. Seth Godin, which is the author of Tribes that I told you guys about. I read that book, amazing. Looking forward to seeing him. Donald Miller, CEO of StoryBrand. Christy Wright, who was there this event, which is what Anna covered. Chris Hogan, which was amazing. That's the stuff that Nina shared with us. And so that is what the lineup looks like for next year, okay? So this is something that you want to do. If this is something you see the value in and you believe that you're worth it, that's another thing that they said to us. You will only take yourself as far as you believe that you're worth it. And if that's you, hold on, I guess I want to unmute it. If that is you, this is what you can look forward to, and now's the time to plan for that. All right, guys, if you have any questions, please don't feel free to post. Reach out to any of the ladies that shared today. There were plenty of other Diesel Nation leaders that attended with us. If you want to hear their feedback, reach out to them. I'm sure they'll give you what their thoughts were on the event. And with that, I will close, guys. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. I hope it was helpful. I hope it was something that was impactful for you. And I hope that you walked away with something today that's going to help you move your business forward. Have a great one, Diesel Nation. Bye-bye.